Hello, hello, hello. Woo-wee. Man, I got some stuff for you today. Boy, I got some update inside information you will not hear on mainstream news. Boy, you got to go way to the back doors to get this information. We knew they butts was guilty, but we needed evidence. Now I got concrete evidence. I want to share it with you. See, I got my notebook, wrote all out. I got my notes. I had to go, listen, man, and listen to these people breaking all this down. But we been played. Woo-wee. Wow. Unfreaking believable, man. The level of wickedness and evil and corruption. Good googly boo. You can't even imagine. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got people on the planet, man, that these jokers, they just devils, man. And what they think about killing people? Zero. Absolutely nothing. Don't bother them one bit. To kill somebody? What's that? Human life? What you talking about? Killing somebody? Wow. But then on the other hand, you have to think, if these jokers get broke, they'll jump out the window and kill themselves rather than having to sit up and try to figure out how they're going to make it with no money, little to no money. You understand? They would just rather whoop out the window, go up to the high floor, 30, 40 floors or whatever, 15, whatever, and dive. They ain't going to deal with that being broke. Woof. Anyway, look, I got some good information for you. I'm going to take my time and break it down to you, because I know you're not hearing this on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and all them other, heavily financed news propaganda station. So let's go this. All right, we did this is about U.S. blowing up the Nord Stream pipe. This is what I want to get into here. This is, all right, listen, ooh, yeah, wow, almost forgot. Subscribe to my channel. Let's do that now, so you won't forget, I won't forget. Let's go ahead and subscribe. And I got 197. I need 3 more to hit 200. And after that, I need 800 more to get 1,000. I got 1,000 public, 1,003 public viewing hours. And I keep going, man. One day I'll be able to be monetized, get some money off some commercials. Oh, get a little decent cash coming in, man. I can get off the job and start moving around and do some real nice videos. Hey, but anyway, go ahead and subscribe. Let's get into this. The topic of this is we are being played. I mean, serious, so bad you can't even wrap your mind around it. But do you know now PayPal, they'll take your money out of PayPal, just steal it if they don't like what you say. And when you be, when you download stuff and they want you to accept their terms and agreement, these bandits is so slick, you don't even know really what's down deep in the terms and agreement, because they make it so long, you ain't gonna sit up and read all that crap. But yeah, believe it or not, that's how they get into your life. Because if you come back and try to sue them, all they got to do is show you where you said, yes, I agree to it. And then 15, 30 paragraphs down, they said, we want to be able to look into everything concerning your internet presence, social media account, password emails, text messages. We want to know what size underwear you just bought. You like Shazam. And then you didn't know that. So anyway, PayPal will take your money if they don't like what you're saying. Yeah, that's something. I'll tell you about that on the next one. I'll get information on that. But what I want to talk to you today is about this doggone war, right? And I'll tell you about how to get your money out of PayPal and all that. But anyway, big tech is censoring everybody, so you just got to learn to use other social media platforms. Anyway, Ukraine, here we go. Now, I saw that mainstream news was lying to you about Russia was doing a draft, a mandatory draft. I saw the videos where they were showing you that Russian sons, males, young men, were being dragged to fight in the war for Russia. And mainstream news media was telling you that Russia was forcing guys to come and fight because they getting the crap beat out of them. And they was telling you that Russians was running to the border to get away from having to fight in the war. Oh, that's a big, fat, juicy, bold, 32, 38, 40 point italicized lie. But in fact, Ukraine has literally gotten its behind whipped. How did I know? Colonel Douglas McGregor, I think is the way you pronounce it. Colonel Douglas McGregor. He was Douglas McGregor. He was the former advisor of the Secretary of Defense. Okay? And being the former advisor of the Secretary of Defense, you still got people inside that would talk to him. So what has happened to Ukraine? They done suffered tremendous losses. 100,000 dead, probably 200,000 to 300,000 wounded. They have lost incredible soldiers because what you all don't know is Russia has been waging a very pinpoint strategic war. Russia knows who's in there in Ukraine fighting and who are they. And let me tell you, they're Americans, they're Alqeedah, and in English they say Alqeedah. Alqeedah and ISIS. Now, this is what's happening. Alqeedah and ISIS have been hired by Ukraine to come into Ukraine and fight for the Ukrainians. Why? Because Russia done damn near decimated the Ukrainian numbers. Oh yeah. Yeah, you ain't heard that. I know you ain't. I'm gonna take my time on this and I hope you got time to listen. But anyway, Al-Qaeda and ISIS terrorist organization, and now y'all know America been talking about Al-Qaeda and ISIS and terrorists, and America done told you the reason why they got to be in Afghanistan because the terrorists over there, we need to hit them over there before they come to America. Big, fat, bold, delicious lie. We got video of the man. Anyway, listen. All right, let me get on my notebook and tell you what we're talking about here. Anyway, Al-Qaeda and ISIS terrorist organization, they're working in Ukraine now. They're going into Ukraine and they're getting paid by NATO, right? NATO, Ukraine is paying them. because Ukrainian forces been almost decimated from the battlefield. Colonel Douglas MacGyver, he was the former advisor of the Secretary of State. He told us yesterday that the Ukrainian loss has been over 100,000 dead and probably 200,000 to 300,000 wounded. Now, U.S. spent 8 years training the Ukrainian army with express purpose of attacking Russia. You see what I'm saying? So 8 years back is what? 2014. So America has been in there training the Ukrainian army to specifically attack and fight Russia. The ass done got wore out. Just that quick. While America is lying and to you and spinning the truth and telling you all kind of lies and stealing your money, they done got wiped out and you don't even know it. They still begging for money, still telling you to fight, but you don't even know. Ukraine ain't even got no damn soldiers left to fight. They damn near all dead or injured. But you ain't gonna hear that on CNN. And you probably thinking I'm lying because who is this guy, a crane operator sitting out somewhere? How would he know? Because I'm in Israel and we listen to other things that you won't pay attention to because you believe your political leaders. You believe CNN, Don Lemon. You know what I'm saying? Don Lemon. You believe Don Lemon. You know what I'm saying? And the other guy with the white hair, I can't never remember his name. You know, the other white dude, he homosexual too. Don Lemon homosexual. And that white boy with the white hair, homosexual. He's you know, they all say they homosexual. And like, you probably say, well, what him being homosexual got to do with anything? Him being homosexual ain't got nothing to do with the news, but they just telling you lies. Whether they homosexual, heterosexual, insexual, outsexual, bisexual, trisexual, no sexual, whatever, they lying to you about what's taking place in Ukraine. And your lying ass president who's been, you know, caught up in so much corruption, he lying too and stealing your money by the billion. They just done turned Ukraine is a big old cash cow way to take money from Americans. Even got people in the grocery store talking about you want to donate to help Ukraine fight the war. That money ain't going to Ukraine. Listen to what I'm telling you. America created Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Oh, you think I'm lying? Let me break this down to you. Where my notes at? Got to get my notes now, because I don't want you to think I'm just over here blowing smoke up your butt. One thing, a good book that you can read, they'll tell you about these deals all the way back to the 70s. It's called The Hidden Hand of American Hegemony. It's all about the deals back in the 70s that America made with the Saudi, right? All these deals America made with the Saudis, you know, to create OPEC and the petrodollar. That book called The Hidden Hand of American Hegemony. All right? Now, okay. I'm looking through my notes on where I wrote that piece down. Okay, here we go. You're talking about Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Okay. U.S. created them. U.S. created Al-Qaeda and ISIS. This guy named Brzezinski, he was the strategist for President Jimmy Carter back in the day, and he convinced Carter that the Russians are taking control of Afghanistan, right? And they doing it with a civilian secular government. And so what Brezhnev convinced Carter, he said, let's create a new organization and let's back Osama bin Laden and give him support and weapons to fight the Russians. He said we can pull a coup d'etat. Now this was Brezhnev, you know their names, all right? And this was during the Carter administration, Jimmy Carter, way back then. He convinced Jimmy Carter that the Russians was taking control of Afghanistan with a civilian secular government. You know, the secular people, they ain't believing in these different gods, right? So he said, let's create us a new organization, right, by backing Osama bin Laden and give him support and weapons to fight the Russian. He said we can pull a coup d'etat. And so when they create some organization, okay, when they back Osama bin Laden and give him weapons and his people, he say the Russians right now, and listen, Brezhnev is telling Carter, let's back Osama bin Laden. Now, I'm taking my time because you remember America did what? They sent over special crack troop and they said they killed Osama. But you don't know that during the Carter administration, how many years and decades and presidents ago did that happen when this guy, who was the chief strategist in the Carter administration, told Carter that the Russians are beginning to take over Afghanistan with a secular civilian army, right? So he said, let us create an organization. Let us back Osama bin Laden and give him support and weapons that he and his people can fight Russia. And when that happened, the Russians, they're going to fight back. And we can say that the Russian invaded. And that shit worked. It worked. It worked just like that. The U.S. orchestrated all of that. One man, you got to understand this now. One man convinced the President Carter to go for that, to back Osama bin Laden, give him weapons, and his people will fight against the secular Russians in Afghanistan. And America said, when Russia attacked, we can tell the world now, we can tell our people, Russia done invaded. And so what happened, the U.S. created Al-Qaeda by making a deal with America that they'll push the Wahhabi extremists. The Wahhabi extremist is Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is the Wahhabi extremists. And they were the most right wing of the Islamic Party, and it worked. I'm telling you, this is the receipts, the evidence that America, United Snakes of America, created Al-Qaeda out of the Wahhabi extremists out of Saudi Arabia that made a deal with America that they will back Osama bin Laden, give him weapons and support so that they can fight the Russian, and when the Russian fight back, they can say the Russian invaded and we can get them. But by them supporting Osama bin Laden and giving him weapons, those weapons was in the hand of some of the most right-wing Islamic fundamentalists. And at the time, they was called the Wahhabi extremists. And today you know them as Al-Qaeda. America created them. Essentially, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, they're a contract army for the United States of America. Now, you all don't even know that Al-Qaeda and ISIS are flooding into Ukraine to fight against Russia. Because y'all don't know, this war really, technically, has been won by Russia. When first of all, America, right, 8 years ago, went in to train the Ukrainian forces specifically to fight Russia. And now today the report is 100,000 are dead and 200,000 to 300,000 are injured, can't fight. They finished. It wasn't that many men that America had to train in 8 years. So the rest of them is a bunch of farmers and tractor drivers and seed planters, growing tomatoes and onions and all kind of stuff. So you don't have nobody, but Ukrainians are very racist, extremely racist. If y'all don't remember how they left the African brothers and sisters out there in the bitter cold when they was running up out of there, when this first thing got first jumped off in February in the dead middle of winter, then they wanted African people to come up out of Africa and fight for them. So you wanted, you know, you're a crash test dummy. You wanted your black and brown people to fight for you while you call them all kind of wacky names. I'm hearing that, hell, it was a Ukrainian a woman that they done migrated, you know, assimilated into America, called the police on a brother in America. She's a Ukrainian, just showed up in America last month, and she picked the phone up and called the brother, police. The brother was standing right there in front of his house. Oh, ragged ass Ukrainian woman. Yeah, racist as hell. They don't have to be taught how to hate black folk. They come in with that already on them, and you wonder why they bring Ukrainians in. Hell, they think just like the white man. They're racist, you know. Vote for the white man. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that, but they wanted, you know, somebody to be follow, you know, the brown people. So anyway, the last time I told you, according to my report, is essentially Al-Qaeda and ISIS, they're a contract army for the United States. So this is what you need to know. Now, I was telling you all that the billions of dollars that this corrupt president you all have, this billions of dollars, I told you, but nobody never said where the money going. He just coming to you talking about, hey, we need $40 billion, we need $60 billion, we need another $3 billion. And I told you all in another report I made earlier that you all don't know that Ukraine gets $1.2 billion automatic deposit every 30 days. Don't have to ask for it or nothing. $1.2 billion. And I kept saying no one has any itemized list of what's happening with the money. Don't nobody know what's going on with the money. Y'all just saying we got to help Ukraine, because you're sitting up with your eyes spinning in your head, listen to CNN tell you, oh, the Ukrainian people, a bunch of blonde-haired, blue-eyed white folks is being killed by Russia. A damnable lie. First of all, Vladimir Putin has said on every single occasion that if NATO do this, if Ukraine do that, we're going to retaliate. It ain't nothing that happened over there with Russia that they didn't know, because Vladimir Putin told them from the beginning, if you do that, we're going to clap back. And what did they do? They did it. And when Russia clapped back, they told you Vladimir Putin was wrong. But what you all don't know is that Putin have tried to come to the negotiating table several times, but it was derailed by America and Europe. I told you before that boy Boris Johnson got on the plane and went over there and told them don't have the meeting. I told you every time that Putin said he was willing to sit down with Zelensky to negotiate a peaceful end to this situation, the boy said no. And people dying left and right. So why is it that they don't want to come? Why America don't want to come to an end to this war? Listen to this. Now this was you're going to have trouble wrapping your head around, but I'm taking this from my notes, and I got good people that have given me this information. I told you Colonel Douglas McGregor, Colonel Douglas McGregor, he was a former advisor to the Secretary of Defense. Now, listen to this. You ain't gonna believe this. The contract army that America created during the Carter administration from the Wahhabi extremists, better known as Al-Qaeda, and, ISIS. America say they terrorists, they this and that. I want to point this out to you, and this is something I noticed Even I got to find out about the Boko Haram. I think it's Boko Haram down there in Africa. You see, I went Navy. I signed up Navy. I went out of high school and I signed up Navy, right? So, you know, I kind of keep up with military stuff and weapons and stuff like that. I mean, not to the extent of some people. Some guys, man, they just fanatic. But I pay attention, and I have a good eye to notice American military camouflage. Now they got this new type of camouflage pattern that's computer generated, and it says it's supposed to be like 100%. You know what I'm saying? Camouflage, to where they had a soldier fully covered in this stuff standing in front of some greenery, and you just literally could not tell the guy was there until they said, okay, move. So he stepped to the left and like, damn, 100% camouflage. He was standing right there. Then they had other trials where they was showing the guy, it was a sniper. And the sniper was sitting there in this specially computer generated, special kind of design camouflage. He wasn't even like, in a ghillie suit, they be down with the weaves and stuff on. He had none of it on. He just had these particular clothes that the U.S. military have been experimenting with. These garments. He had it over his head. You just couldn't see his skin. His whole body was covered. And he was a sniper sitting right there. They had the rifle wrapped up in it. He was sitting right there squatted, pointing the rifle at you. And you could not see this guy. He was not hiding behind the tree, the rock, or under a bush. He was sitting right smack there in the open. And when they told him, stand up, and he stood up, damn, scared to smack out everybody. He was right there. They couldn't see him. Because this new, some kind of pattern they done discovered, that the way it refracts light or whatever, they had a whole scientific explanation to it, that the human eye can't process it. And so if the human eye can't process it, that means you become invisible to the human eye. These jokers was standing right there in front of the people. The sniper was squatted down on one knee with the rifle, and they told him to stand up, and when he moved, you could see him. Like, what? And that shit kind of make the hair stand up on the back of your head. Anyway, let's get back on track now, because I'm going to tell you about this Al-Qaeda in the United States of America. So what happened to, since America went and trained these guys to specifically fight Russia, 8 years. They ain't been at this job since February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. 8 months. And the colonel, former advisor to the Secretary of Defense, said 100,000 of them dead and 200,000 to 300,000 wounded. And they were specifically trained to fight Russia. They ain't around no more. You know what I'm saying? But the mainstream news got you thinking just the opposite. That Ukraine wearing out Russia. This nigga said, man, it ain't even nobody to fight left. So this is what they doing. They now are sending in Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Why? Because they are contract fighters for the United States of America. And this is what's happening. They are being paid by NATO and the Ukraine. They paying them because the Ukrainian forces have been almost decimated from the battlefield. Right? These men were trained with the express purpose of attacking Russia. NATO now is paying Al-Qaeda because they have nobody to fight. And they've been paying them, and the more coming, and they're paying them because this money is good for them, a few $1,000s per month. European and United States of America taxpayers are funding the terrorist group ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Boom! I got to say that again because you ain't heard me. You're not listening. You're not paying attention. You all been fed with this lie of Al-Qaeda and ISIS being a terrorist group, and America got to go over there and fight them in this war on terrorism. And y'all was told about ISIS, you was told about Al-Qaeda, and they are terrorists and we got to get them. What a damn lie. Man, this stuff will make you want to cuss. I told you, in the Carter administration, they supported Osama bin Laden, gave him weapons and funding, and created these guys to fight against Russia. I went over all that with you. Now I'm telling you that because Russia has damn near decimated all the Ukrainian soldiers on these very high precision, long range strikes, that America and Europe and Ukraine are hiring the ISIS fighter, Al-Qaeda fighter, and they flying them in by the plane loads to fight out there against Russia because they don't have nobody else to fight. Now, let's break down the money. I got the money. Where I wrote it at. Okay. And they got a guy. They captured one of the ISIS fighters, right? And he gave an interview when they was questioning him. Okay. Now here it is, you got a situation where you got people in America, they can't pay rent or buy food, but your money is funding terrorists. So they got a captured ISIS fighter who they interrogated. He explained how he was recruited by foreigners, right? America and Europe. And he explained that he's being paid by Ukraine, Spain, and Germany. And his job, this particular guy's job, say his job was to recruit foreigners to come and fight. But he said since all the time he been over there, he was only able to get one foreigner to join, the organization. And so he's picking up $15,000 from Ukraine, $15,000 from Ukraine. Now, Ukraine is paying him in dollars, $15,000, right? Ukraine is paying 5,000 euros he's getting from Germany, and 1,500 euros he's getting from Spain. Wow. Okay, let me relax because I know you're trying to keep up with me. He's getting $15,000 from Ukraine. He's getting 5,000 euros from Germany. He's getting 1,500 euros from Spain. And the U.S. been paying them to fight in Syria, right? Because that was a U.S.-backed proxy war. These guys, they're hardened, trained soldiers that's been fighting in Syria. And ISIS and Qaeda, they coming in from Syria. U.S. created them. When I told you that Brezhnev, he was that strategist for Jimmy Carter. And he convinced Carter that the Russians taking control of Afghanistan with a civilian secular government. And so he said, let's create an organization, back Osama bin Laden, with weapons and money. And the Russians fought back. And they said that America told a lie that the Russians was attacking, and it wasn't. America created Al-Qaeda, right? Now, Saudi Arabia, and that was the book I mentioned to you, The Hidden Hand, right? Saudi Arabia made all kind of backdoor deals with America, right? That they'll push the Wahhabi extremists, which are Al-Qaeda, the most right-wing of the Islamic fundamentalist party, and it worked. Essentially, Al-Qaeda, they're the contract army. I told you that. I'm saying it again. Al-Qaeda is a contract army for the United States of America that they created back in Osama bin Laden. Now, Ukraine forces been decimated. Al-Qaeda, they're all fodder, like that's who they sending out there to get killed, brown people. And then I told you When I look at some of these images, and that's something that you have to think about also, where are the war correspondents? That generally during a war, you have war correspondents that be there on the ground reporting about the war. That's always has happened. You know, you have women to do that, men to do that. They go out and they put the bulletproof vest, the hard hat, and they got the cameraman and they talking right there at the, you don't see that coming out of Ukraine. Why not? Where are the war correspondents? Only thing you get is what they stand up there behind that podium and tell you all them lies. You know? That's what you're hearing. But you ain't seeing nothing. So where are the war correspondents? Nevertheless, when I mentioned Boko Haram earlier, I had seen these brothers standing out there in front of some military carrier vehicles, and I looked at their clothes. Man, they looked like those brown boots American soldiers wear in the pants. I'm like, damn. When I was walking through the living room, they were showing this video of the Boko Haram leader was speaking. And I looked as I walked past the TV and I stopped. I'm like, damn, I thought it was the U.S. military. Because the vehicle that they were standing in front of, those U.S. vehicles. Don't nobody make them vehicles, you know, don't nobody even paint them with that type of camouflage. It wasn't Australia. It wasn't Canada. It wasn't Russia, China. It was U.S. vehicle. So now I got to go and find out what the hell happened with Boko Haram. But we know Alqeedah, and then you look and you see these guys, how they be dressed. All that's American military stuff. Now you got to go back and question why the hell Biden pull out of there and leave all that equipment like that. You see what I'm saying? See, now you got to go back and think about what Trump was telling you. You need to investigate these guys. Now you understand where the damn money is going. Because they bringing tens of thousands, all these fighters in that are contract soldiers for America, and you got to pay them. And then you know when the area that you're going in to fight, when the chances of death is greater, the money goes up. Like on a normal, it may be like $1,500 a day. All right, but it's not a hot zone. But if you going into a hot zone where a battle is going on, $15,000 could be, what? And then you got to multiply 15,000 by what? 1,000 men, 2,000 men, 5,000 men, 10,000 men. That's a hell of a lot of money. And the money is coming from America mostly. And those American tax dollars, that's that billions of dollars that he's sending over there to pay terrorist organization that you all been told a terrorist organization. You all been told that. And damn it was America that created this shit. You're being played like a top. You're being played like a fiddle. And you don't even know it. You're running around, oh, we got to support Ukraine. Now y'all paying for ISIS and Alqeedah. And you can't even pay your damn rent at the house. But your government is sending money to people that they said are terrorists. They ain't terrorists. Them jokers working jobs. They carrying them guns and fighting wherever America say go, getting that good damn money. You only have American servicemen get paid like that. What the hell is going on? But this is your wicked leadership. I'm trying to tell you. They don't give a crap about nobody. They don't give a crap about you. I was asking, where do you get all the equipment look just like American uniform? Now I'm clear. It was American uniform. Who? See, I'm going to my notes. Want to make sure I don't forget nothing. Check this out. We got to talk about, okay, I told you the good book to read is The Hidden Hand of American Hegemony. All about the deals in the 70s made with the Saudi, right? The Saudis to create OPEC and the petrodollar. The petrodollar recycling, and in order to allow the U.S. to print money and pay for goods all around the world. Because it meant that it was paid for in the petrodollar. This is my last thing. Okay? All right. Now, because of that deal that they made behind closed door, under the table deal with Saudi, the U.S. dollar, they created a deal where all petroleum product has to be traded in U.S. dollars. That today, all that time, okay, you remember when Nixon took America off the gold standard, all right? Well, what has been giving the strength to the dollar was the petroleum product. All nations had to buy and sell and trade petroleum products in U.S. dollars. That's crude oil, diesel fuel, gasoline, rocket fuel, kerosene, gas, okay, anything else I may not have mentioned. And all of those different items come from petroleum. Come from crude oil. But now you need to know also that all crude oil don't produce all those different type of other petroleum products. You have to have the highest grade crude oil, that from that you can process and get all the different type of other petroleum products: gas, kerosene, diesel fuel, rocket fuel, jet fuel, and all that. That's called Brent sweet crude oil. And that's the oil that get the highest price. When you hear them talk about the barrel of oil, you see you have different grades of oil that come up out of the ground. But when you hear the price of the oil, they're talking about Brent sweet crude oil. That is the highest grade of crude oil that they get, that would allow them, they able to process that type of oil and get all those other different petroleum products: gas, kerosene, you know what I'm saying, diesel fuel, rocket fuel, and whatever other product. You can do that with Brent sweet crude oil. But then if you have a low grade oil, you're not able to get all of the different other products. You may get one or two or three or what have you. You follow what I'm saying? Okay? But when you're hearing the prices of oil, they talking about specifically the highest grade, Brent sweet crude oil. And that's the one that the whole world is after, because once you get that in hand, you can produce all these other stuff once you process it. Because that's what they're going for. Now, U.S. made a deal with OPEC back in the day, the Saudis, because at that time they had one of the world's largest oil supplies. But then again, the lying-ass United States government, listen, they never told you how much oil they found in Africa. Oh, man. Whew. Boy, you shaking in the boots. Big Papa talking today. You ain't never heard about how much oil they actually found in Africa. Yeah, they talk about Saudi and the OPEC oil ministers and the billions and billions of barrels of oil they got. You ain't heard about the OPEC oil minister said the year that they expect to be out of oil? That ain't even true. Why? Because the earth keep reproducing it. Oil don't run out. They could drill over here for 20 years. And if the well run out, they can go over there and drill for another 20 years. When they finish with that, they can go back to the other well. It's full again. So it don't never stop. Did you know that? Yeah, I found that out. I'm like, damn. So that's why I ain't never run out of oil. They've been, man, I was told that, you had to, that they went out there drilling for oil. They was drilling for water back out there in the desert. And they hit oil. And they started selling it. And the rest is history. But they still drilling for oil 30, 40, 50, 70 years later. Because the well ain't ran dry. And it's not. The earth is a living organism. Just like your body reproduces blood, every 21 days, you have new skin cells develop, new blood cells develop out of the bone marrow. And if the blood is the oil of the body, and the body is created like patterned after If the earth, right? Then if the blood, well, the windshield ain't working. If the blood is reproduced in the bone marrow, and the blood is likened unto the oil in the earth, then it would make sense to know that the blood of the earth, which is oil, would be replenished too. And they know that. They've been down there drilling for decades. They know that oil ain't going nowhere. And so they taking this oil from Mother Earth free. You know, they don't have a big hose that they go to and fill up all them barrels, and then they got to turn around and pay Mother Earth. Well, today I'm gonna charge you, $70 a barrel, and Mother Earth take the big water hose, the big, fuel hose out and start filling the OPEC barrels, and then when they fill up 1 billion barrels, they got to turn around and pay Mother Earth 1 billion times $59. Like for them billions, they got to pay $59 billion for that oil. No, Mother Earth don't charge them nothing. They getting the FREE. You hear that? And then they sucking it up on pipes that's been sucking it up for years. You know, it ain't like they got to change them pipes every single day. They change them, but they don't change them so often that they just steady wasting money buying pipe. They got to change them, but they be done sucked up so much oil before they have to make the change that the amount of money they spend bringing the new pipes is nothing. So they steady sucking this crude oil up out of the ground free from Mother Earth, and then they send it through the processing plant. They be lasting 20, 30, 40, 50 years or whatnot. At that point, all they doing is just constantly, replenishing pipes that rusted or maybe have gotten weak through the pressure, what like that. And so they have crews that's all they do. They just stay out there and constantly, upgrade and refurbish, and they just constantly pump oil up out of the ground. And then they turn around and say, all right, $90 a barrel. Why? Just because they want to. Hell, they ain't paying nobody for the oil. What they had to pay workers, and then you see the workers, they all standing around. Why? Because the equipment doing the work. They standing around waiting on something to happen. And then when it happens, they go fix the equipment, come running again. Whoa, turn electricity on, boom, and everything keep going. And them few people they have out there, they making good money, yeah, but that good money they making they don't even see that. You talking about you pumping 1 billion barrels of oil a day, and you charging $70 for the 1 billion barrels. In one day, you made $70 billion. Then multiply that job by 365 days and see how much money you got. That's why them big ass building over there they built is just, you know what I'm saying? It be mind-boggling the amount of money these people be dealing with. And then it's just like they be competing against each other. You know, who gonna be on the $70 billion list today? Who gonna be on $100 billion? And they just doing this, man. And so here it is. They made these deals with Saudi Arabia, and most of them, all of them, was made under the table. And these deals were so corrupt that most of them, right, like, for instance, the head of the U.S. Treasury Department at one time, and still do, they didn't say they stopped this, but the head of the U.S. Treasury Department, he had a secret phone line straight to the director of the CIA. Why? Because that's how government and money works in secret. The people don't know nothing. The OPEC funds, listen to this. The OPEC funds that come from Saudi Arabia, they're classified and still are to this day. We being played. You don't even know about no money coming from OPEC to the U.S. government. Where the money going? You got people laid out there in the freaking streets of LA under the daggone sky. And it's billions upon billions of dollars pouring in every single hour. And it would be so easy to just build a whole damn city for these people. And then once they get in the house and cleaned up and situated, you can send them through all manner of training, and you will find out the majority of them people were so intelligent, laid out there, that Bill Gates talking about they're every day 1 million short of tech workers. They don't have the program. They don't have the software engineer. They don't have the cybersecurity people. They're all laid out there in the damn street. You got 50,000 people laid out there in the streets you ain't doing nothing with. You getting the money. You know what I'm saying? And have been getting the money. What the hell happened with the money? I'm like, God, you make me want. But now you doing that, these leadership. Okay, and I'm not talking about you. You have a clue about none of this. Not a clue. What I'm telling you, some of y'all hearing this is the first time in your life you ever heard anything like this. That these people created ISIS and created Alqeedah. And I told you. I watched the video yesterday. Yeah, where the guy was sitting up explaining that they did that during the Carter administration, Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer, down there in Georgia. And so it's so much money that these guys are stealing and dealing with that the reason why those folks laid out there in the streets in LA, because your government don't give a crap. They don't give a crap, man. They don't care about them people. And all those greedy bandits running around, and the only thing they're concerned about is getting more money. Man, you can't eat the stuff. You can't screw it. You can't have sex with it. The best you can do is get naked and lay in the bed on top of a whole bunch of money. If that give you a thrill, you really sicko. You need to see somebody. You get some serious help if that's what you do with money. Other than that, when you go to sleep, you can't sleep but in one bed at a time. You got 5 houses all around the world. You can't sleep but in one bed. You got 35 cars. You can't drive but one car at a time. You got 100 suits. You can't wear but one suit at a time. It's like at the end of the road, at the end of all that money, it's just materialism. At a certain point, it just ain't nothing else you can do on planet Earth. But the same stuff over and over again in different ways. A house. Okay, a house with 10 rooms. A house with 2 rooms. A house with 20 rooms. It's still a damn house. A bed, a big bed, a small bed, a high bed, a low bed, a new mattress, a used mattress, an orthopedic mattress, a king saw mattress, a mattress on top of mattress. It's still a damn mattress. At what point do enough be enough? It don't be enough, not in a greedy man world. Because you remember what they say, greed is good. Right? And so they say greed causes you to overcome all obstacles along the way of attainment. And then they had the other thing they say, the end justifies the means. What is the end? $100 million yacht, a $17 million mansion, a $1.8 million Rolls Royce, a $900,000 Bugatti, a closet full of Birkin bags, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 handbag, all type of Jimmy Choo shoes. You understand? All type of designer clothes, caviar, ain't nothing but fish eggs. And so this is the kind of stuff, expensive bottle of wine, you're gonna drink that shit and this is the empty glass bottle. But you paid $2,000 for that pink champagne, big old bottle. And once you drink that stuff, it's over with. I saw this documentary where they say, what do the rich do in Europe? They had this place, I saw this years ago, right? They had this place in Europe where the rich and wealthy go. Reason why I can't remember where it's at, because I saw it a long time ago. And what it was saying in essence is there's a place over in Europe that the rich go to, and they have dinner, and the dinner is like $25,000. The woman that owned the restaurant, she sit down with the interviewer, and she explained that on the weekend she goes to 25,000 bottles of beer. I remember that because I was a big beer drinker back in the day, right? And she said it's all craft beer, really expensive beer. And then they had this, what they party out on the beach, they call it the champagne party. And the champagne parties, every one of those rich bandits get a big bottle of champagne. Each one of them bottles of champagne costs $2,000. So they all go out there on the beach and they listen to the music. And then at the exact same time, they shake the champagne and then they pop the top, and that pink champagne just be flying everywhere. And so they just spray everybody down, and they be dripping, soaking wet in $2,000 bottle of pink champagne. This is what they do. So with all them people out there, them big old $2,000 bottle of pink champagne, at the end of the road, all that rich and wealth, this is what they do. Then they interviewed this old white man and woman. They looked like they was in terrible shape, like they was barely breathing, staying in this awfully, incredibly posh, luxurious estate. And they were so old and ugly, man, it was just amazing. You know, how you be that damn wealthy, but you be that ugly? That's just like a real, incredibly beautiful person, man or woman. Handsome man. I mean, dude got body of a god and look good. And when he speak, his damn breath empty the room. Roaches leave. And it's like, how the hell can you be that handsome and breath stink that bad? You understand? Same for the woman. She come through the door and lay the damn room down. Whoo, she beautiful. I mean, every single physical thing about this girl tell you she was built by the God. Not a God, but the God. From her hair down to the bottom of her feet. This child is unbelievably mouth open, dripping, slob, drop, dead gorgeous. And that nigga opened her mouth and laid the roaches down on the floor. How can you be that damn beautiful with breath stink that bad? You walk around with $70 billion in the bank and your ass is ugly. You see that? Y'all ever see Boris Johnson? How the hell are you gonna be president of a whole damn country with that kind of damn hair? Wow. Unfreaking believable. Man, if I had $70 billion, I at least want to look good. Teeth all white and shiny, skin all beautiful and crisp. You know, it don't matter to them. I just, you know, hell, maybe the money is all they, yeah. And then again, you know, wait a minute now, hold it. Then again, you walk around with $70 billion, how much you ain't gonna be able to access? With $70 billion, whole damn world yours. Any type woman, any type man, whatever you want, it's yours. Why? Because you got $70 billion. You know what I'm saying? So with $70 billion, the way you look really don't matter. Because if you want her, you can get her. You know, because you're going to find them, all they about is materialism. So you get the $70 billion, you get her. Who is her? It's that one that with that bad breath, that health is so beautiful. All you got to do is just tell her, don't open your mouth. Something going on in that stomach. Because how in the world can you be that damn gorgeous and your breath smell the sewage smell better than your breath? I'm just talking to y'all. I hope you heard something that you ain't heard before. But those OPEC funds that's coming from Saudi Arabia, they classified them. You don't know who doing what. This is your government for you. Your United Snakes government. Chief. Good googly boo. And all of those people is laying out there in the street in LA, homeless, nowhere to go, no help coming. Whew. Unfreaking believable, man. How the hell I get on this planet? I know I ain't from here. I know I'm from another planet. Yeah. Man, my spaceship must have crashed somewhere around here. I gotta find it. Get the hell on. This is madness, man. Unfreaking believable. I mean, these people are so cold-hearted. They ain't even human. I can't even say they're human. You know, it's like, human? I've seen better than that out of humans. Yeah, really. Like, I've seen compassion. I seen love, mercy, you know what I'm saying? Concern for fellow man. I was in the bank the other day, getting my money. And this girl walked in, looked like she looked like she had escaped from the hospital somewhere. She had the little white tag on her arm, and she walking like she was a zombie. And you know, she looked, I mean, she looked bad. Just. Whew. And so I thought to myself, Shazam, man, maybe I need to go outside where the fresh air at, because she might be sick. Something wrong with her. She wasn't straight. That girl was not kosher. So, you know, we sitting there, everybody waiting. And she goes up to the teller. She don't stop and get a number, because, you know, everybody get a number and they beam, you know, your number, you go up there. She just walked straight up to the teller. And, you know, because with so many people in the bank, I forgot about her. Then next thing you know, lo and behold, the girl is laid out on the floor, flat on her back, just gone. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm sitting there, what the hell happened to the girl? The hell, I ain't finna run over there. Because she looked like something wrong with her. Look at her skin, man. Look like she infected with something. Shit. I think I need to run out the bank. Go out there with a fresh air. And then, oh, God, the girl got the coughing. Oh, hell, I had enough. I got to go get the fresh air. What the hell is wrong with this girl? So anyway, you know, some people, they go over there and, you know, mess around with her. One guy said, she dead? Is she dead? And when he said that, the people just stopped. Oh, shit. Is she dead? And I'm sitting there, whew. Oh, man, poor child, she's in a pickle. That girl was in bad shape. She got the coffin, and they rolled her on the side. They said, roll on the side, roll on the side. She spit something up. I was out. I was finished. No, hell no. Hell no. What the hell is that coming out of her? What the hell we got going on up here? Alien? Brother was out. Y'all can have that. So they called the EMS. EMS walked in, looked at her, laid out on the floor. What the hell wrong with her? Dude, you the EMS. Go figure it out. Shit, I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't. I'm full of compassion, but I ain't going over there. I ain't got no mask, and they got the gloves. They were ready. They didn't touch it. They put them gloves on, got to strap it up, and looking down there on the laid out on the floor. I'm like, poor child, the hell going on in your life? I see it made me feel kind of good. Why? Whatever the hell happened in my life, it ain't knocked me out like that. I'm like, I'm seeing the girl laid out on the floor, had to tell her. I'm like, damn, what did they tell her? She ain't got no money in the bank? That shit. Child, you know, I'm going to get my salary, but I got money in my pocket. It's like, child, you need 50 shekels or something? Like, damn, I said, what did they tell that woman? She dropped to the deck. And the teller was standing up looking in there by the right. I said, oh, shit, now we messed up. I just want to get my money and go. And I really wanted to ask the teller, hey, did you tell her she ain't got no money in the bank? Why the girl fall out like that? She walked in here, you know, I mean, all zombie-like. She's a zombie. And, shit, I'm like, I look around, any more coming? You never know, man. You out here in public, all this shit is happening. You have to be careful. Cause when that girl walked in, the way she walked in, I'm like, shit, I looked around, whoa, where'd she come from? I had to look around and say, well, any more coming? Cause I don't want to get trapped up in here and these zombies run up in here. And I said, damn, the teller must have told the child, you ain't got no money in here. I don't know what you coming up here for. Bloom! She fell out on the deck. I said, I guess she didn't want to hear that. Woo! So the EMS, they came in, put their gloves on. They still looked around, and she was still alive. And the dude asked, is she dead? Like that, y'all should have told that woman she ain't got no money. You supposed to saw that. You know, the child didn't look too strong when she walked in. And you gonna tell her she ain't got no money? I don't know if that's what they told her. But it was just kind of funny to me. You know, she walked straight up to the teller, walked past everybody. Wasn't no line. All of us sitting in there in line. She just walked straight to the teller and got knocked the hell out. Blam! Teller said, "Hey, what's your account number?" 238947. No, honey child, you ain't got no money in here. You got 1 shekel in here. Boom! What just happened? You know, I be in the bank and be all quiet. It don't be loud in there. You got a couple children over there playing. They messing around. You know, they children, so it's okay. Then you look around, this girl on the floor. Shit. I'm like, baby girl, is it that bad? I said, hell, I hope they got my money in there. I checked my bank account. My salary came through. What's going on over there? To tell her. Woof. Okay, let me let y'all go. I know you done had enough already. But anyway, make sure you subscribe, okay? Don't get out of here and not subscribe. I'm really, you know, appreciative, you know, that you did subscribe. I really appreciate it. And, you know, I look at a lot of other people YouTube channels, and you know, they doing good. They making money. They got a lot of stuff going on. You know, they got membership deals and stuff, and super chats and a whole bunch of other stuff. And those people, they got tens of thousands of subscribers, and they put a video up 5 minutes later, you know what I'm saying, 100,000 people done, you know, came on. And so they done put the work in. You know, a lot of them been doing it for several years. And, you know, mine, it goes up. It's getting there. You know, when I first started, what was it? I had no subscribers, then 1, then 2. But in order to get to 1 million subscribers, guess what? You have to pass by the number 1. You can't get to 1 million without going by 1 first. You got to start out 1, 2, 3. And so anyway, if you haven't subscribed, you're still listening, I appreciate you. Love you with a perfect love. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button and the bell. So when I put up another one of these delicious videos you enjoy looking and listening, you'll be on the inside, okay? And I appreciate you. Love you with a perfect love. Love you from the basement of my heart to the attic of my mind. Love you a whole lot. Love you 24/7. I mean, I love you all the time. Shalom.